So we're going to find the circumference and area of this circle here. We're going to go ahead and use the distance formula between the 2 points and do this the more accurate way. So we've got to look at the change in our x's and the change in our y's. Right, so that's going to give us 5 minus 2 is 3 squared. 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1 is 2 squared. So that's 9 plus 4, which is 13. So we're looking at the square root of 13 for the radius, right? And circumference is 2 pi r. Area is pi r squared. So we're looking at 2 times the square root of 13 times pi for the circumference, and the square root of 13 squared times pi for the area. All right, so 2 times the square root of 13 is 7.2 times pi is 22.7 for our circumference. And then for our area, the square root of 13 squared is 13. And 13 times pi is 40.8. So looking at 40.8 centimeters squared for our area. Questions on either of those, circumference or area, or the distance formula? Okay, so now we've got a triangle. To find the perimeter, we're going to need to find the length of each of the sides. To find the area, we need the base and the height. Okay, so the base is easy to figure out because that's this distance here. We're going from 2 to 10, so we know that that one is 8. That's super simple for us to figure out. The other two, not as easy because they're diagonal. We can't just count them off. So I'm going to do AB first. I'm going to find the length of AB first. And that's going to be change in my x's, 8 minus 2. The change in my y's, 6 minus 1. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 6 squared is 36. 5 squared is 25. 36 plus 25 is 61. The square root of 61 is 7.8-ish, roughly, rounded. Okay, and then BC, same process here. We're going to go the change in our x's, 10 minus 8. The change in our y's, 1 minus 6. So that gives us 2 squared plus 1 minus 6 is negative 5 squared. So that's going to be 4 plus 25. That's going to be the square root of 29, which is 5.38, so 5.4. So I'm going to take these, the square root of 61, the square root of 29, and I'm going to add them together with the 8 to get the perimeter. So the square root of 61, and I'm going to put it in the calculator as that because I want to save the rounding to the very, very last step. That way I have the most accurate answer. Plus the square root of 29 plus 8. And that's going to give me 21.2 for my perimeter. Then for the area, we need the base and the height. So the height is going to be from this point straight down perpendicular to the base, which I can count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also go 6 minus 1. Since this is on the y equals 6 line, this is on the y equals 1 line, we could go 6 minus 1 to tell us that distance, or we can just count it because it is straight up and down. It's a vertical line, makes it easy for us. So for the area for 1/2 base times height, I know my base is 8. I just counted off my height for 5. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 8 times 5, which is going to give me 20. So I'm looking at 20 centimeters squared for my area. Questions on that one? All right, this looks like another square. Can't be 100% sure, so I'm going to have to find the length of 2 of the sides to fully determine if it is a square or not. So I'm going to do the distance from A to B and the distance from B to C. And if they are the same, then we know we've got like a square thing going, and we can do the perimeter and the area really quickly. So here we go. We've got the change in our x's and the change in our y's. So -5 minus 0 is -5 squared. 5 minus 3 is 2 squared. So that's 25 plus 4, which is 29, or about 5.4. So that's for, I forgot to mark that was for AB. For BC, we're going to have change in X plus change in Y. So we're looking at -2 minus 0, -2 squared plus -5 squared. So again, we've got 4 and 25, which is 29, which is 5.4. So the square root of 29 all the way around. So we've got 4 of those. And that gives us about 21.5 for our perimeter. Right, that's the square root of 29 4 times. And then square root of 29 times the square root of 29 will give us our area. So basically we have the square root of 29 squared. I don't know why I wrote the equal sign again. That is 29. So we have 29 centimeters squared for our area. I don't know why I wrote my equal sign twice. I was really happy, I guess. It's super equal. Questions? Okay, it's really, really important that you get area and perimeter and circumference down to like your fullest ability, because when you go into the 3 dimensions and you have to do surface area and slant height and volume, it's really important that you can do these 2-dimensional ones before you try to get into your 3-dimensional stuff. Okay. So I'm going to end a half hour early so you go have time to work on your assignments. Remember that angles of triangles was due yesterday, 2D and 3D is due today, transformations is due tomorrow, and your quiz is on Thursday. Okay. So if you have any questions, make sure that you get them to me. Make sure that you get your assignments turned in.